Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. So, interestingly, I just got destroyed by Rhino. So, I thought this would be two quick Hawkeye versus Rhino battles, and it's going to end up being a best 2 out of 3 Hawkeye versus standard Rhino. So, I got Hawkeye out on the table here. We've got Rhino out on the table here. And Rhino's got his 14 hit points. Hawkeye's got his set up. I need 6 cards. I think we're going to get going here and see if we can do better this time, because Rhino just destroyed us on the scheme. It was a Rhino advance, which happens and just takes you out. You think you got around, maybe, and then you don't, and it's over with. All right, so let's see what we got here. We have a team training, cable arrow, electric arrow, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Okay, so the electric arrow we want to keep because electric arrow does the stun. I think that's a good opening move on the Hawkeye side. Now the rest of the stuff, cable arrow gets rid of threat, which would be nice later. I wouldn't mind stashing that, but right now it does me absolutely no good. So pitch as part of the mulligan. Earth's Mightiest Heroes is going to let me exhaust an Avenger to untap an Avenger, which I don't have anything of, so going to go away. We have Ready for Action, which is going to give ally a tough card, which we don't have any allies, so that can go away. Sky Cycle, yet again, no allies out there, so that's going to go away. Team Training, well, we don't have any allies yet, but that can go out and sit out there, so I think we'll hold on to that to do in addition to our electric arrow, maybe. All right, so let's draw our 4 cards. That's our mulligan. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So now we've got a lot of arrows. We've got an explosive arrow, which is going to do 3 damage to everybody engaged with me, essentially. Villain and each minion, which there's only the Rhino. We've got our vibranium arrow. That's going to do 6 damage, and it's got piercing, so it's going to go right on through tough, which is awfully nice, and maybe I hold on to that one. We've got Expert Marksman, which is exhaust Expert Marksman, generate a wild resource for an arrow event. So it's going to help me shoot arrows for cheaper. All right. The other thing to consider is I need to go get my bow. So I'm going to use Clint Barton's got an ability here where I can spend a resource of any type, search my deck, and discard a pile for Hawkeye's bow, and add it to my hand. So we're going to do that. We're going to use our Ready for Action to go after our bow. All right, where's the bow? Bow, 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 bow. No, no, no. There it is. All right. So we put our bow into play. Essentially, you need the bow to shoot any arrows because they require tapping Hawkeye's bow. But it also gives me +1 attack, and it gives me ranged. So that's a nice weapon. All right. Let's drop that out there. It'll be interesting. I wonder if they end up making Hawkeye's other persona, which I can't remember it is. It's when he goes bad guy, or not bad guy, more vigilante, and just starts killing everybody off. If they do make that character, those are both Clint Bartons. So could you have Clint Barton Hawkeye and Clint Barton the other character in play at the same time? I'm guessing not. That would seem weird, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. All right. Let's get our Expert Marksman into play. If we do that, so are we going to get our Team Training into play? If we get Team Training into play, we couldn't play an arrow other than the explosive arrow, and that seems kind of lame, so we don't want to do that. All right. So we're going to use our Team Training to get our Expert Marksman into play. We're going to flip on over to Hawkeye. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to shoot our electric arrow. So we're going to spend 1 for an arrow event. We will use our explosive arrow for our other resource to shoot our electric arrow. So when I shoot my electric arrow, it says exhaust my bow, stun an enemy, and deal 3 damage. So we're going to exhaust my bow. We're going to stun Rhino, and we're going to deal 3 damage. So he's down to 14. And then we're going to go ahead and attack with Hawkeye, who attacks for 3. So we're going to take him from 11 down to 8. And this has been a pretty standard opening round, is getting Rhino down to 8 with Hawkeye, and ideally having him stunned. All right, so we're done. We're going to hold on to our vibranium arrow and draw back up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Villain's turn. What's going to go on? We're going to add 1 threat to the main scheme, which I'm going to find the right token for that. There we go. 1 threat to the main scheme. Rhino's going to see Hawkeye out there. So Rhino will try to attack, but he's stunned, so he doesn't attack. And then we get an encounter card. Our encounter card is a Hydra mercenary who's got guard. All right. Now I'm kind of wishing I kept that explosive arrow. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're back over to the hero's turn. Okay, so what do we got here? We could get another expert marksman out, which would be a good thing to do. If we have expert marksman out, we can shoot a vibranium arrow, but we have to get through the Hydra mercenary first because he's got guard. Luckily, it's not the claw one that's got tough and guard because that's really annoying. But assuming we do that, we can't get Hawkeye or War Machine out there. So the other option is we do Hawkeye, and then we use our War Machine and that to play Vibranium Arrow. Or we could just get War Machine out there. War Machine's pretty cool. He starts with toughness. Do I want... I think I want to get Hawkeye and shoot my vibranium arrow is the route that we're going to go. Is that what I want to do? Oh, second thoughts. Second thoughts. Having this out there so I could shoot more arrows would definitely be a win. So what I could do is I could get expert marksman out there, use Hawkeye to play vibranium arrow, and then hold on to War Machine for next round. Or I could hold on to Hawkeye for next round. I think we will hold on to Hawkeye for next round. All right, so we're going to do 1 to get our expert marksman out there. So we've got 2 expert marksmen. Now right now, Hawkeye deals 3 damage himself, so we're going to attack for 3, and we're going to take out the Hydra mercenary. All right, next up we're going to use our vibranium arrow. We're going to do 2 to play this event, which is our vibranium arrow, which says we need to tap Hawkeye's bow. So now we're going to do 6 damage. We do 6 damage to an enemy, and it would go through tough, but he doesn't have tough, so I don't have to worry about it. So there we go, he's down to 2. All right, now I'm sitting on these 2 cards right now, and I think we're going to dump War Machine, and we're going to get Hawkeye out. All right, we're going to be done. I'm going to draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now we're going to take some beat down. Villain's turn. First thing that's going to happen is we're going to put 1 thread on the main scheme. Next thing that's going to happen is Rhino's going to come to attack Hawkeye, and he's just going to take it. So we're looking at 2. We're going to get a boost of 0. So we're just taking 2. We can take 2. 2's okay. All right, so then we need an encounter card. Encounter card says, oh, advance, he's going to scheme. All right, so normally he schemes for 1. He's going to get a boost of 2, so he's going to scheme for 3. Ooh, I just made that go up real fast. All right, so now it's up to 5. And we're going to have to do something about that. Unfortunately, I got rid of War Machine, who was my fix that type of person. So it's going to be hard to get past that. All right, so we're over to the hero side at this point in time. Now, the Sonic Arrow could confuse Rhino, would let me go over to a hero turn. So that's of interest, and I can fire that for free potentially. It's also going to do 3 damage to him, which would make 2 encounter cards come out, which is kind of scary given the state of where the break-in is at. The other things that we've got out there are we can get out Hawkeye, or we can't do that a different way. We could get out Hawkeye and we could thwart again. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so here's how we're going to play this. We are going to thwart for one. I'm going to take one off the break-in. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to fire our sonic arrow. So we 2 and tap the bow, and sonic arrow does 3 damage, and it's going to confuse the enemy. So 3 damage. Is going to take Rhino over to Rhino 2. And he's going to be at 15 hit points. 10 and a 5. And breaking and taking is going to come out. Oh, and he's confused. Confused. All right, so when you see breaking and taking, the good thing is one of the advances has gone away. So I'm hoping that we don't hit another advance, but kind of got this Murphy's Law thing going on where it's probably going to happen. My odds should be really, really low for that to happen. Well, now I'm doubling my odds, but the odds should be really low that he's going to get an advance. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put Hawkeye out there. And then we're going to play Earth's Mightiest Hero, which says I can exhaust an Avenger character you control, ready another Avenger character I control. So I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye, who's an Avenger, and ready Hawkeye. Now, the question is, do I de-threat that yet again, or do I go ahead and hit Rhino? I think I'm going to hit Rhino. So we're going to hit Rhino for 3. It's an iffy choice there. All right, we're going to be done. I'm going to flip over to Clint Barton. We're going to ready up. All right. We'll see how this goes. Oh, I forgot to put threat on breaking and taking in. Sorry. Let's do that. So I'm thinking right now is I kind of need to power through Rhino. See how this works out. I need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now Hawkeye's got this Hawkeye's got this really neat ability where I can discard 1 card from my hand and deal X damage to an enemy where X is the number of resources on that card. So potentially do 1 or 2 maybe. We'll see. Might be better in the Hulk deck. Oh. All right, so we have resources this next round, that's for sure. All right, villain's turn. Let's see if we make it through the villain's turn, because that's the scary part at this point. First thing we've got is we put 1 threat on the main scheme. Next thing we've got is Rhino sees Clint Barton out there, so he would scheme, but he's confused. So that doesn't happen. All right, now the next thing is, this is where it gets scary, is he's going to get 2 cards. All right, so we've got 2 cards. First card is Hydra Mercenary comes out. The second card is Stampede, which I'm alter ego, so it's going to surge. All right, so we're going to surge into another card. We get Rhino's suit. So he's going to get 5. Essentially, it's going to absorb 5 damage is what it does, and then it goes away. All right. So what do we got going on now? At the end of the villain's turn, we're back over to the hero's turn. So things that are concerning is the amount of threat they're on break-in. I really haven't taken a lot of damage, so I'm not too concerned about that. The Hydra Mercenary with guard is annoying, but not horrible. Also, I don't have any arrows out, so that's a bit unfortunate. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get Hawkeye back. We've got 3 attack on Hawkeye. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attack with Hawkeye for 3 and take out the Hydra Mercenary. Alright, one of the things that I'm not liking is the fact that none of my allies, she's got 1 thwart, Black Knight's got 1 thwart, Hawkeye's got 1 thwart. I would really like somebody out there to have more than 1 thwart, but that's the way that it goes, I guess. Alright, so we can do... So we've got 2 powers of leaderships out here and Black Knight. So do we do this in Black Knight? I don't think so. I think we do this. So I'm not going to get to play all. So I've got 3 things. I have more than enough resources. I've got 3, 4, 5 costs, and I've got 6 resources. But I'm only going to be able to play 2 things because of the way that it's arranged. Because I can't pool. I wish I could tap them and put them into my pool, but that's not happening. All right. So the other thing I'm looking at is, do I worry about the break-in and taken? Am I more worried about the break-in and taken or the break-in scheming out? I think I'm more worried about the break-in and taken, which means I essentially need to have everybody thwart. All right, so we're going to do 2, 3 to get Black Knight out there. Then we're going to give Black Knight the Sky Cycle. And so we've got a knight. That's his iron horse there. All right. Black Knight's going to thwart for 1. We use a Sky Cycle to untap him, then he's going to thwart again. All right, so he's taking 2 consequential damage. And then Hawkeye is going to thwart for 1. And we're going to get rid of the break-in and taken. Okay, now I could... No, I can't because I have to exhaust her in order to use my resource thing. All right, we're going to be done. Untap, untap, untap. And we're going to draw back up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, villain's turn. What do we have going on here? Things are getting a bit confusing. All right, 1/3 of the mean scheme. It's up to 6. I don't like that. Rhino's going to come attack. Right now he's attacking for 3. I don't think he can boost to a point where he's going to take Hawkeye out. Do I block with Black Knight or do I block with Hawkeye? I think we'll go ahead and block with Hawkeye and let Hawkeye go. So 3, we're blocking with Hawkeye. 4, 5, yep, Hawkeye's gone. All right. Next up, we need an encounter card, and there's only 1 because we got rid of break-in and taken. So we get, oh man, the villain's going to attack me again. All right, so I don't want to lose Black Knight at this point. So we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to get a boost card, so he's hitting for 3. He's going to boost 1, so we're going to take 4. So we've taken 6 total. All right, so we're done with the villain's turn. We're over to the hero turn. All right, so we need to get 5 to get rid of the suit. But I think that's not going to be a happening. So what else can I do here? I think we need to do some arrowing and maybe confuse the villain. Take a hero turn. Take an alter ego turn. All right, so here's 2 for my sonic arrow, which is going to deal 3 to Rhino, and it's going to confuse him. So we're going to confuse him, and the 3 goes on the suit. All right. Next up, Let's use our Sky Cycle to shoot our... Oops, sorry. When I did that arrow, that exhausted my bow. All right, so I'm going to use Hawkeye's ability to unexhaust my bow. Then I'm going to use my Sky Cycle to shoot a cable arrow. And we're going to take remove 3 threat. So 2, 1. All right, and then we're going to use our energy to get team training out there. So team training says I give ally I control has +1 hit point. So now Black Knight has 4 hit points. And we're going to go ahead and attack with Black Knight again. And he attacks for 2, so that's going to be enough to take away Rhino's armored suit. Okay. That took it up to 5. 5 takes away the suit. And we're going to flip over to Clint Barton. All right, then we're going to ready everything up. We're going to draw 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're building to that 12-point hit, which we got 5 in hand here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Villain's turn. 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino's going to see Clint Barton out there, and he's going to decide to scheme, but he's confused, so he does not. Then we're going to draw an encounter card. Counter card is Shocker. Shocker's going to come into play and deal 1 damage to each hero. I have no heroes on the board, so nobody takes damage. Okay, we're back over to the hero turn. So now the ultimate turn would be to be able to do 12 damage this round. So can I get to that? Clint can do 3. I can do 4, 5 with Black Knight. There's another 3 from the arrow. So we're up to 8. I can boost 9, 10. Or I get Goliath out there. Goliath attacks for 5. So that would be 5, 8. I think we've got it. All right, let's see if this works out like I think that it does. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to bring big old Goliath out there. So Goliath is pretty awesome. He's got a action. Goliath gets +4 attack until the end of the phase. At the end of the phase, discard Goliath. All right. So Goliath is going big at this point. I'm having him go huge right off the bat. Actually, we'll go ahead and flip over to Hawkeye. All right, Goliath is going to go huge. He's going to attack for 5. He's going to take 2 when he does that. So he attacks for 5. That's going to knock Rhino down to 7. All right, we're going to spin 2, tap our bow. We're going to do Electric Arrow. So Electric Arrow does... Whoa, does 3, and it's going to stun the Rhino. So we're going to drop a stun on him. We're going to hit him for 3, so that's going to take him down to 4. Oop, if I can get the little thing in there, Black Knight is going to attack. And he's still out there because team training gave him +1 more hit point. So he's going to attack for 2. Then Hawkeye attacks for 3. And we've taken the Rhino out. Yes! There's another win. Wasn't a pretty win, but it was a win nonetheless. So what I'm thinking at this point is a pretty decent match, I think. In standard mode, Hawkeye has Hawkeye's pre-con deck, which is what's right out of the Rise of the Red Skull, has a bit of advantage against Rhino. I don't think it's overwhelming. When Rhino does some of the cheesy things that he does, he's got the ability to get past Hawkeye. But I think Hawkeye's got a decent amount of control over Rhino and is able to beat him. And I'm kind of understanding how Hawkeye works too, so that's pretty cool. All right, so that gives us 2 victories, 1 loss with the pre-con Hawkeye deck versus standard Rhino. So I think where we go from here is we go over to Spider-Woman and try out Spider-Woman's pre-con deck against Rhino and see how those play out. So I think that's it for now. I'm trying to think if there's anything during that play that I would have played differently. There was one spot where I think I could have sky cycled, or maybe I could have toughed. No, and I wonder if you guys were questioning that maybe I should have done the tough. That way I could block with the character with tough versus using the sky cycle in order to remove more threat. Would you have played it that way? I don't know. Anyway, so there we go. 2 wins, 1 loss versus Rhino. Moving on to Spider-Woman. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.